Okay, so we're starting slope, and it's the change in y over the change in x, or the vertical change over the horizontal change, or the rise over the run. The formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now understand that y2 and x2 come from the same point. The x is first, the y is second. x1 and y1 come from the same point. Okay, it's the first point and the second point. So we're going to try to find the slope of the line that passes through these points. If you have to, label them. x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so you have y2, which is 4, minus y1, which is 7, divided by x2, which is negative 2, minus negative 3. Well, remember, when you have minus the negative, that becomes plus a positive. 4 minus 3 is negative 3. Negative 2 plus 3 is positive 1. Negative 3 divided by 1 is negative 3. So that's the slope of the line passing through those points. So for this one, I have 1 minus 1 over negative 4 minus 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. And 0 divided by negative 7 is 0. And the last one, 1 minus negative 3 over 7 minus 7. Well, that becomes plus a positive. So that's 4 over 0. And when you try to divide by 0, you can't do it. So this is an undefined slope. So when it's 0 divided by a number, that's a 0 slope. When it's a number divided by 0, that's an undefined slope. Okay, I'm going to go through this fast. Remember, you can pause it, write it down, and then listen. But when you're reading a slope of a line, read it from left to right like a book. So this first one, from left to right, it's rising, which means it's going to be a positive slope. Then from left to right, when it's falling, it's going to be negative slope. A horizontal line, which is this next one, has a 0 slope, and a vertical line has a slope that is undefined. So we're going to discuss slope-intercept form now, which is y equals mx plus b. The m represents the slope. The b represents the y-intercept. So we're going to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form that has a slope of 1/5 and the y-intercept of 0, negative 3. Well, the slope is 1/5, so that means my m is equal to 1 over 5. My b is going to equal, the y-intercept is the point 0, negative 3, so the y value of that is the y-intercept, negative 3. The y-intercept will always have an x value that is 0. So the slope-intercept form is y equals 1/5 x minus 3. Okay, and do it from the graph. The y-intercept, you can tell from right away where the graph is crossing the y-axis, which is right here. That's going to be at 4. My slope, I'm going to count my rise over my run to get from one point to the other. First of all, determine whether the slope is positive or negative. Because it's falling from left to right, it's going to be negative. Okay, so then I rise from one point to the other. 1, 2, 3, and run 1. So my slope is -3. So then I have y equals -3x plus 4. And that's my equation. Okay, write down the steps for graphing. If you have to pause it, pause it. But your first step is to solve for y. Then label the slope and the y-intercept. Then we're going to plot the y-intercept first. And then use the slope from that y-intercept to find another point on the line. And then you draw the line. I'm going to come back to this part here. Okay? So, to graph these, -2x plus y is equal to 1. First, I'm going to put it in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to have to add 2x to get the y by itself. That's solving for y. And when I add the 2x, I want that 2x to be first, and then the constant plus 1. So now I'm at the second part, number 2. The m is 2, and my b is 1. So now I'm going to plot my y-intercept, which is 1. And that's going to go right there. My y-intercept is on the y-axis at 1. Use the slope from that point to find another point. So I'm going to start there, rise 1, 2, run 1. This is where we need to talk about this first point. If your slope is positive, you're going to rise up. If your slope is negative, rise down. Always run to the right. I'm going to always double check, okay, that my slope is going in the correct direction. Here my slope is a positive 2. If I draw this line, it's going to be rising from left to right, which means it's positive. Okay, I'm always going to ask you for 2 points, one to the right of the y-intercept, one to the left. So I put this one first, and now I'm going to rise down 2, but now in order to keep that line, I need to run to the left 1. And I put my point there. And now I can draw my line through those points. Alright, we got 2 more. The graph y equals 3 and the graph x equals -2. These are very special types of lines, okay, because it's just one variable. You don't have both variables. And what it tells you if it's only one variable is either that the line is horizontal or the line is vertical. Okay? Start at the origin. What you're going to do, go in the direction of the variable that is in your equation. So I'm going to go in the y direction, +3 for this first one. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put my point there. My line is going to go in the other direction. Since I went up 1, 2, 3, my line goes perpendicular to that, which is left and right. So that's the equation of the line y equals 3. All across this line, you can pick points. Pretend those are on the line. All across the line, if you pick the points, the y value will always be 3. The x value changes, but the y value will always be 3. So in the next one, I go in the x direction, -2. Well, that means left 2. I'm going to put a point there. And then draw my line now up and down vertically, and all along this line, excuse me, all along this line, x is equal to -2. It doesn't matter what point you pick, x is equal to -2. This is an undefined slope, remember, here. This one is a slope of 0. And you notice this technically is y equals mx plus b, but if that slope is 0, they're not going to write it. So it's just y equals the constant.